Well, welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Tonight we have local filmmaker. If you live in the Dayton area, which I guess I live at the very north end of, Shawn Burkett. Shawn, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shawn Burkett, and I'm a local filmmaker in the Dayton area.
You may know him for his I don't know if you want to say controversial movie, but the title was the classically titled "Don't Fuck in the Woods."
Yeah, I was a part of that.
Well, what's funny is I was sitting there talking to some people at my shop one day, and we were talking about people I know and people that work in film and stuff like that. And I was like, I got a buddy of mine's got a movie coming out. It's called "Don't Fuck in the Woods," and he's like, "What's it called?" I was like, "Don't Fuck in the Woods." And he's like, "Is that really what it's called?" And I'm like, I brought up the trailer, and he's like, "Okay, it's what it's called."
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, my dog and cats are being pain in the asses right now. Not my wife's cat and my wife's dog. My cat's chilling over here because that's what my cat does. All right. Okay. I know right now you are the lead in Mr. Buzzkill. Am I correct on that one? Or
See, I have no lines, so therefore am I a lead? Well, I know I can say I'm the title character.
There we go, title character. Because is Nick Castle the lead in Halloween, or is Jamie Lee Curtis?
I mean, Nick Castle's name sure as shit wasn't on the poster.
Yeah, that's true. but Gunnar Hansen, he kind of was.
I don't remember.
I don't
think he was like at the top, like this name, and this name. But I don't think they had any names at the top other than.
All I remember is I had a really, really old VHS tape, and at the top it said Gunnar Hansen in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, and okay. You're currently working on a TV series.
Ish. We kind of just wrapped season 1 of it, which I don't know if we're gonna do a season 2. Depends on the state of the world.
Okay. I know that your dude Squatched. Mm-hmm. Now, is this connected to your other Bigfoot related movie?
No, not at all. Other than I was sitting around and I was like, you know what? We've got a lot of money into this suit. Why not do something with it? So, we just got our YouTube monetized, and it was like, let's just screw it. Like, we shot all of those in like, I think 2 days, and just went with it.
I'm not gonna lie, if I had a really cool Bigfoot costume, I would get in so much trouble and I'd probably get shot.
See, we've thought about things. We've thought about like prank videos and whatnot. And it just came down to like, I feel like you'd get shot if you did that.
I did something incredibly stupid when I was like, oh God, maybe 14, 15. There's a legend north of here, not far from where I live, called the Lockington Dam Werewolf. And I had a really cool werewolf costume I had made for me when I was a kid. I mean, it was just a mask you bought at the store, but my dad's girlfriend at the time made it so it had the hair down the chest. I had hair coming out of this, everything. I had the gloves and I had chrome sunglasses, like aviator glasses, so you couldn't see my eyes behind the mask. And my friends lived like maybe a quarter mile away from the dam. So I snuck through the woods to where all the people would go and make out, hook up in the cars. And I'm sitting, you can see the car rocking back and forth. And I go running up and I just jump on the trunk of the car and slam up against the window. And the girl is under the guy and she starts screaming. And the guy looks up and they're slamming up against the glass. I've never seen somebody go over the seat of a car so fast. And then I ducked off into the woods. And I'm like, man, I was like, if I'd have done that, I got shot today. Somebody would have just pulled a gun out and just shot me. I was like, but that was also 30 plus years ago because I'm old. But oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I am a huge sucker for the Bigfoot genre horror movies. And I'm like, oh man, I was like, no, I know people that are making them. No, I definitely got to watch this. There's been some classics and some classically bad ones.
There have been more bad than good.
Well, one of my other like, I mean, the Bigfoot and Scarecrow movies are like my like guilty pleasure horror movies, and I will watch them all. Like other people's the shark movies.
Yeah.
But Sci-Fi Channel has ran them into the ground, so I will always watch a Bigfoot movie though. God dang it. I watched was it Bigfoot's Hunting Ground or something like that a while back? Or Bigfoot Wars.
Bigfoot Wars.
Bigfoot what was the other one I watched? Bigfoot versus Zombies.
See, I have quite a big collection of Bigfoot movies, but I stopped unless it was either a documentary or something more serious tone after Bigfoot Wars. That's kind of where I was like,
nope, I'm done. I'm out.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, why the hell is Bigfoot just randomly ripping into a damn trailer? Like,
the last one I think that was really good that I really liked was the ones done by the Blair Witch guys. Was it Exist, yeah. I really like that one.
I know a lot of people didn't like that one, and it's just, I think that once people, I think they were conditioned to not like that one.
A lot of people hate the Blair Witch guys, and I don't know why. Like Believe, I like that movie, and yeah. People just same way with the Paranormal Activity guys. Those guys get a lot of shit too. Yeah. I actually like that one where they raided Area 51. Ever see that one?
I don't think I have.
It's don't get me wrong, it's not a great movie, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. So
yeah.
But no, Exist, Willow Creek. It's pretty good. And what was the last? This one's probably older than that. Abominable with I think it was Abominable or Lance Henriksen was in it.
Was that the one
based on a true story, supposedly?
Okay, so that's not the one with the guy in the wheelchair?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
This is the one Lance Henriksen plays a father going to look for I can't remember if it was his son or his daughter who got lost in like.
That was originally called something different.
Yeah, it was originally completely was it Sasquatch? I think is what it was just called.
I think so. I can remember the DVD cover.
Yeah.
And then they sold the rights to it to another company and they retitled it, and it's like, have you seen this movie? It's like anybody who looks at this movie and then wants to title it that.
Well, because what I thought was funny was the Bigfoot is almost hairless in that movie, though. It looks more like an orc than a Bigfoot, but I like the concept of it, so I enjoyed that much of it. So sitting there looking it up.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not even going to try to spell the title. Let's just look up Lance.
Lance Henderson. I can't even bring it up that fast. You got this set up over there. I got a computer in my phone, and my phone was on you. So I think it was like The Unknown or something like that.
At one point, I feel like it was called like Sasquatch Hunter.
That sounds pretty close. I mean, the worst part about it is I still have it, but my copy is a VHS tape that I got when I worked at Hollywood Video from back in the day.
What's funny is that he's been in several Bigfoot movies.
Yeah. Lance Henderson's one of them guys where I think he's like, somebody walks up to him and goes, here's $5,000. You want to be in a movie? He's like, sure.
And what's funny is that he was in the Abominable movie that I was talking about too.
Yeah, I seen that just here. I'm like,
so it's like,
holy crap! I did not realize the level to which movies he appeared in.
Right? I'm like, man, what year would that have maybe been?
It had to be early 2000s. There's Pumpkinhead movies. Sasquatch Mountain. Is that it? That'd be about, oh, no, nope. It's got to be older. Abominable. Like, crap, did he do like 3 of these like within a year of each other? AVP. This is good. This is good television. What this is, what we're doing right now. The
Correct.
Untold.
That's yes.
Yes. He plays Harlan Knowles, the billionaire president of a Biocomp Industries, heads to a team of experts in the quest to locate the company's plane that disappeared over a remote area of the Pacific Northwest. Based on actual accounts.
Does it say what the original title was?
Because it was The Untold, and I think it was called Sasquatch or Sasquatch Hunter. Oh, Erica Durance's first feature film. Huh? Okay.
Say, because it was good. Like, I liked it.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember that.
Yeah. But, wow, I did not realize that movie was that old. Okay. Also known as, in original titles, The Untold. In Argentina, it's Sasquatch. In Brasilia, it's Sasquatch Zero, the something in Spanish. No, I'm sorry, Portuguese. Then France is Sasquatch La Creature de la Foresta. Wow. Okay. So it's probably Sasquatch or The Untold is the main 2 titles, I guess.
Or maybe he was in the other Sasquatch movie. I was thinking about
he's in Untold, and then like a year later, he's in Sasquatch Hunter.
Okay.
And then he's in Abominable. And he, like I said, he did like within like a couple years, he did several. Abominable was in 2006. And Sasquatch Mountain was in 2006. So yeah. He did like within like a couple years, he did like 3. One of my favorite ones is what I think it was called Shriek of the Mutilated. It's where the Bigfoot pins the people in the cabin because they accidentally killed one of its babies back in like the 70s. Sucker for all that crap, I guess.
I think I may have that.
Shriek of the Mutilated or the Untold?
I think the Freak of the Mutilated.
I have it on VHS.
Say when you go to Horror Hound, you will find so many people selling so many weird and rare things.
Oh, yeah.
Like one year I got like Boggy Creek 2 and everything on DVD, like some oldies for sure.
I got Boggy Creek, Legend of Boggy Creek, 2, Return to Boggy Creek and another one, and literally the only two are the connected. Boggy Creek, the newest one I have takes place in Texas, and it's horrible. So
yeah,
was that Return?
God, would that come out like 2009 or somewhere around there? Yeah, it wasn't
good at all. But you know what? I gotta give people props. If you're gonna go big and go make a Bigfoot movie.
I mean,
it isn't I don't want to, if this gives anything away, just tell me to shut up on this. You filmed 90, like a bunch of that on a set, didn't you?
yep, we built a woods in a big barn. And that was mainly because, you know, normally we would do something like try to block out 10 days or something like that. And it's like, and that's mainly because this film's set at night. So we need to at least make sure we have enough nighttime to film it.
Yeah.
So by building the set inside, we were able to shoot it during the day, shoot it at night, like whenever we wanted, we could just go shoot. So it saved time. And I think we had either 6 or 7 days on set at that location.
Now, did you film any of it in the woods actually, or just those?
Part of it, because it got to the point where it's like, with the amount of money that we had and the size of a barn that we could find, which it was a very big barn. I mean, we made a set that was every bit of like 40 by 60 of like woods that had, we could move the trees out of the way and rearrange things to make like a roadway to where we could pull the vehicle in the barn, because a lot of it is centered around this vehicle that's stranded on the road.
Yeah.
So it was just, it was cool, but we knew part of the ending we were just going to have to shoot outside, and we shot that outside. It was in March, literally like 2 weeks before the coronavirus just tore us all apart. So it's like we came out of the woods and it was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, everybody's freaking out, and it's like, because only like certain cell companies get area out where we were filming. So it's like, I had no service. If I wanted service, I had like a 10 to 15 minute drive down the road. So it was nice though, not having to worry about your phone going off or the world ending, even though it was.
It reminds me of the whole was it Jared Leto, who was on like a retreat somewhere. He came out of the retreat and only to find out like, oh, what's going on with the world? I don't.
Yeah.
It'd have to be freaky. You just go and you're like, okay, we're gonna go film for the week. We'll be back. You come back and like, what do you mean everything's shut down?
Right. Like,
I didn't stock up on toilet paper. I didn't stock up. Oh man, I tell you what killed me, and I tell people this, and I wrote a movie, did the script, did everything, was planning on shooting this in 2020. Everything got shut down, so I was like, all right, screw it. Maybe that's just my, like I said, I was like, if I'm going to screw up a movie, I want it to be my fault, not the not nature's or fault.
right.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe I'll work on it later. And then I'm, of course, like everybody else, I got stuck sitting at home and I'm watching TV. And next thing you know, I found a movie on Amazon that was almost exactly the same movie that I had wrote. I'm like, well, that went to shit. So I rewrote most of it, and now it's just sitting in a box somewhere. because I've moved since then, so I'd really have to definitely find it if I wanted to decide.
Yeah.
I'm one of them guys though. If I actually ever had to make a movie, I'd probably like I don't know, because it would probably freak me out if I ever actually got the money and everything and move forward. So
Well, I mean, depending on the budget, like, no, you're right. Like, no matter the budget, like, yeah, I was remembering back to like, I mean, even the first Don't Fuck in the Woods, like, we only raised like, it was under $8,000, and it took us like years to raise that much. To where, yeah, I can remember at that point, that was a stressful time. People were like, "Where's my stuff?" And then they had to wait, and then we still got to film, like, and the pressure of all the crap that went down with that stupid movie.
It's bad. Is I've donated to some Kickstarters and Indiegogo stuff and whatnot, and I'm like, if I get anything, I get something. I'm doing it just to try to help these people out, and it's you being on this end and trying to start something. I get it, how hard it would have to be to actually, literally I just wrote when I had time, and I talked to people who about being in the movie and stuff like that, and I couldn't imagine being on your end. I couldn't imagine having to raise all the money to get the cast, to get people, the logistics on time and everything else like that, because I actually, for me, it'd be almost impossible, because I me, I own my own business, and trying to work around that would be ever so much fun, because I get a whopping 2 days off a week, and then those 2 days I got 1,000 things to do. So
Right.
and my wife's the one that's always like, well, if you want to do it, you'll do it. I'm like, yeah. That's why I do this stuff, because this keeps me occupied and keeps my like creativity a little bit, and I can do it and an hour, 2 hours here, edit it one day, get it posted. And the other thing I love doing is I do a Saturday morning cartoon show. I edit cartoons together and I host them, and people go like, you make any money yet? I don't care. I'm having fun. I don't care. So, I mean, like I said, the logistics on any of this stuff would have to be stupid hard to do, especially like you said, you got a barn, you had to put trees in it, you had to bring in a vehicle, and you did that all in a week, you said?
I mean, technically that set was built in a day. Maybe 2 days, day and a half at least. Because we had, the first day on set, we just kind of took it easy, helped build the stuff in the barn, and then we filmed a couple driving scenes. And then the second day we were shooting stuff in a funeral home. So while we were shooting that, the rest of the crew was still trying to build the woods, because one thing we didn't take into consideration was the ceiling, because it was like we had like 12 foot before we saw rafters.
Yeah.
So we didn't take that into consideration, because we should have just blacked all that out.
Yeah.
So instead we just had to get creative with angles to where we're not aiming up, which a lot of it for stuff on a road, like, we got on ladders and shot down. We could shoot like level, which wasn't a problem at all. But yeah, we definitely didn't take that last aspect of shooting upward into consideration.
Especially, you're supposed to have a big monster, so you got to do the look up and you see how big they are.
Right. Yeah, we just didn't think about that. I was more that whole time I was more worried, like, we need to make this look believable, like we are in the woods but on a road. Like that was my whole. So it's like we use fog to help fill in some gaps for sure, but let me put it to you this way: it doesn't look as bad as that Boggy Creek from 2010.
I don't think you could go through and do like take action figures and make a stop motion movie, and I don't think it would be as bad as that Boggy Creek movie from 2009. Although I think I got a Sasquatch figure floating around here somewhere. All right. All right. I gotta ask, who is, when you make a movie, who do you aspire to be? Or do you just aspire to be Shawn? You just like, this is my movie, or do you go, hey, I want this to kind of look like a Argento film, or do I want this to look like a Carpenter film, or
That's a good question. I don't know if I can look at certain movies and, well, I can't say that I've ever wrote to been like, man, I hope this turns out like this movie. But like certain scenes, like, I want a certain feel. Like, I hope that this scene, like of him getting drugged through the woods, really feels like, I don't know, something out of A Quiet Place.
Okay.
Or something like that. Like there will be scenes that I see in other movies that definitely like leave an impression on me, to where it's like, man, the way that was colored is how I want this whole movie to look.
Okay.
But I could be wrong, but I don't think like, I don't know if I've ever set out to be like, I want this movie to be comparable to this movie. Because at some point, it'll be a last minute thing while we're filming. I'll completely change like the ending or a feeling and like just go that route. Like, you've seen Bludgeon.
Yeah.
Like that movie was supposed to be just a splatter flick. But then once Erin Ryan started doing her thing, like it totally, some of that like goriness got taken out, because I was like, man, this is like emotional.
That girl pretty much knocks it out of the ballpark every time she comes in. I mean, I know this is bad, but I kind of wish she could be like somebody like would like a big name, somebody, like would just like, hey, we need this girl and put her in something.
I mean, Erin will work for, like, her big thing is the story, like knowing how a story could make an impact. Like, I don't know if this is the only reason she worked with me, but she saw my first film, The Sleeping Soul, and she was there at the premiere. And she just said that she loved it. Like that film for her was like something awesome. So it's like, I can remember her like coming up to me, and I kept her in mind. We became friends on Facebook. And then, yeah, eventually I was just like, hey, Erin, want to be in a movie?
Not gonna lie, I wrote, when I wrote that movie I was telling you about, I worked on, I wrote a character for her. Strictly.
I'm sure she'd do it.
And yeah, she told me she would. So I was like, like I said, if I get back to it, it is floating around here somewhere. It will. But we're talking about making movies. This I've written a few things, like I said, never got anything, but I've also written stuff and I'm like, hey, this is my Italian horror film. This is my, slasher film. This is my, possession film, my haunted house film, You know, do you ever sit down and go, yeah, I want to make I'll make an Italian horror film. Yeah, I want to make a, you know.
Okay, so the Sleeping Soul, like at first, I can totally say like I really love that first Paranormal Activity messed me up like for probably a week. To where I like always remembered that. So I was like, that's a really cost effective way to make a movie. So I mean, there's parts of the Sleeping Soul where it's that video camera found footage aspect, but I didn't want it to just be that because I felt like I personally couldn't tell a story completely that way.
Yeah.
So like I changed it to it was a woman on a webcam who was like blogging daily like about her, it was like her personal diary kind of thing. And that's how I put that I just call it the Paranormal Activity look into that film. And then I spliced it together with some like real footage, not found footage.
Because if I'm not mistaken, you were married to the lead at the time, weren't you?
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes.
We weren't divorced. We weren't together. Because at that point I had Connor was almost 2 by that time. I think so. My youngest was like getting close to 2 possibly. But yeah, me and Aisha, yeah, we married several years before that, and then it just didn't work. So
yeah, but no, I'm sorry, I didn't bring that up.
No. Like I was, it was kind of funny because I was like, I talked to her today, so it's like, it's not like I'm like not friends with her or anything. Like it wasn't
a bad breakup or nothing like that. Just
right. I mean, we remained friends like for years after like that whole thing because we were young. That was 2007.
Yeah, because I knew you guys were still doing work together up until relatively recently, if I remember right. Because I remember
like 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you sending me a test screening of one of your shorts you did for me to check it out. And all right, okay. I've asked this of several other people. Money is no object. You can hire one actor that you want to be in your movie. Who are you hiring?
Depends. Do I need to be me or the me that slightly got more of a Hitchcock attraction to a woman?
Whatever you want it to be.
I'm gonna go with the first person that comes to mind is Emma Stone.
That's a good choice.
Like, I would like to see her do something like, I don't know. I'd love to see her in a horror movie.
I'd like to see her in a supernatural horror, like The Haunting, like the old school one, with the you never see the creature at all. It's always just outside the door. I thought she'd be perfect for something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is I don't even know. The ones I would love to work with are actual super B movie actresses that I know I could probably get in a movie if I tried hard enough and got just a little bit of money.
Right.
Because I hate to say this, because I always work when I write. I work with like a certain, even when I write comics and stuff like that, I always have a person in mind when I write a character. And I wrote the one movie I was telling you about, I wrote with Aaron in mind, Tiffany Sheffis in mind, and Barbara Crampton in mind for three witches at the beginning. And it's funny because I've talked to all three of them. And they're like, yeah, well, we'd be down. I'm like, I don't have any money, but
Right.
knowing that if I had the money, you would work with me, then it would be awesome.
But it also, if you had those names attached, it wouldn't be any problem to raise that money via a crowdfunding campaign.
Oh, no way. I didn't figure
Like,
it would be that hard, but yeah, that's one thing that scares me. I have a friend that wants to help crowdfund a book, and I'm like, I have no idea how to do any of that at all. I don't know how you crowdfund. I don't know how you anything. I mean, I could probably raise myself some money if I actually learned how to do any of that shit. All right. Here's one of the other ones. You could step outside. You're given unlimited budget. Well, not unlimited budget. A decent sized budget. What kind of movie you making? You making a horror movie? You making a sci-fi movie? You making a cowboy western? Just a movie that you would love to step into that's maybe outside your wheelhouse.
oh, outside my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, one if you're in your wheelhouse, one outside your wheelhouse.
Okay, well, inside my wheelhouse, I would like to remake Silver Bullet.
Oh man, that would be cool.
Only because if we're going to continue remaking movies, every now and then, let's put like one in there that I feel like everybody sets their sights super high, like, oh, we're totally going to surpass what people liked about this movie, and they don't. I feel like I'm not saying like Silver Bullet's a big thing to accomplish, but like, I feel like that movie just could be remade in this day and age and have so many more things to play with.
Well, I love Silver Bullet, and I get it because it is a really good coming of age movie, which I don't think we have a lot of those nowadays. One is that it had a pretty good cast for the time. I love the Reverend as the werewolf, but I hated the werewolf. I thought that was one of the dumbest looking werewolves up until like the Harry Potter movies a few years ago with the horrible skinny werewolves. It looked like a teddy bear.
It did. It looked like a bear.
Yeah.
Like,
when that firework goes in the eye and it does not look like a wolf in any way, shape, or form.
right.
And that was a couple years after, The Howling and Company of Wolves and stuff that had great werewolves. And you're like, really? You couldn't do better? So
Right. It's like, it was like, other than like two characters, where the fuck did the rest of the budget go? To the teddy bear?
I would love to see it not as Silver Bullet, but as Cycle of the Werewolf. So it's the full
that
year.
as well.
Yeah. Do it the full
like,
year. Yeah.
But I at one point, like, before I started writing Betsy, I was like, maybe I could turn this into a short, like, just make a short fanish type film of Silver Bullet, mainly like revisiting the opening to Silver Bullet and making it bigger.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why am I doing this? I can't like try to get this out. So I ended up just completely veering the opposite direction.
Going smaller. No, yeah, I think I do believe that Silver Bullet and I'm really surprised because the way they keep remaking or just giving sequels to Stephen King books and movies that don't need sequels,
Right.
that has not been remade. That's just that's almost screaming to be remade, actually. So
I've been thinking about that one and Critters for like the last 5 years. Like, I want to remake some, like, something that I saw as a child that I was like, oh my God, you got to go see this movie.
I want to. One thing I always wanted to make was another, because like I said, we were talking about the coming of age movies that we don't get anymore. I wanted to do a horror movie, coming of age movie with, and just kind of have it on. I had an idea that's been rolling around in my head that it all happens on Halloween night. It's these 4 kids, and that's like their last trick or treat. That's what the working title was, the last trick or treat. And I'd love to have something like, because I think that's just something we need, because I don't think we have that anymore. My sons are in their 20s now, and my son Joe, he just turned 21 recently. Well, he's gonna turn 22 shortly. I was like, these kids, he's like, yeah, he goes, I don't remember a coming of age movie. And he watches movies with me all the time. And I was like, man, we kind of need that. Because, we had, when I was a kid, we had Lost Boys, we had Monster Squad,
Right.
We had Silver Bullet, we had, before I forget, 1987 is the greatest year for movies ever. Look it up. I have this theory, and people think it's bullshit till they look it up, because I was talking about Monster Squad and Lost Boys, both 1987.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, we had Goonies, we had, all these movies, and it's just kind of a gone genre, which I don't think it should be. I mean, because
I agree. Like, I feel like movies like that ended up bringing people together in real life.
Well, was it the documentary Wolfman's Got Nards? You seen all them guys, my age, coming back and like hanging out just to watch, Monster Squad. I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, if a local theater showed Monster Squad here and, within a, hour distance, I would probably go see it. Yeah. So I think there was one playing, and unfortunately I could not get away from it because it was like a big weekend for me.
But yeah, the last, I'm trying to think of the last, like, even remotely coming of age movie that I saw that wasn't based around some sort of trauma of like a kid watching his parent hack the other parent up.
Yeah.
Or like Hocus Pocus.
I want to say Super 8. Super 8, I think, is like the last, and Stranger Things is a coming of age, but that's a TV series. And I think Super 8, I think, was literally the last one I could find that was the coming of age movie with those kids making movies and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God. I could relate so much to those kids when I was little. So, but okay, now you got to make a movie outside your wheelhouse. What you making?
See, I don't know, because I would love to dabble in comedy. It's just, you have to be funny to do that. To where I feel like I would probably go something like dramatic, just some sort of drama. I'll remake The Notebook. There we go.
Remake The Notebook. Make it not suck. I can't judge it. I've never seen it. I am not a romantic comedy guy. I'm not a. My wife hates it. She's like, "Well, do you want to see this movie with me?" No. She goes, "Well, I see movies with you." I'm like, "But I see good movies." Actually, I don't. I watch garbage movies. She was making fun of me the other day. She's just recently discovered Tubi, and she
Yeah.
found the faith section because her like guilty pleasure movies are like the Left Behind movies and stuff like that. And she just discovered one called, was it 2025? And she's like, "Oh, you've got to watch this." She goes, she goes, "It's so bad. I want to watch it." She goes, "But I can't finish it." So she has to watch it in like spurts. I'm like, and then whenever any of those, anytime I come across any of those DVDs of those like movies, I bring them home and give them to her. So she's got a stack of movies in her personal collection. So that's her whole thing. All right. You're on you got movies on Vudu. Trying to think of you got movies on Amazon Prime, don't you?
Yeah,
And
I
I'm pretty
believe
sure
so.
I'm trying to think. You got one on Tubi too, right?
I have either, I know you can find Don't Fuck in the Woods pretty much anywhere except for Amazon. You can find Betsy at the moment only on Tubi. But then I know we have films like Failing Grace and Season's Greetings 2 that are I know those are at least on Amazon. We've been battling streaming because like we did have a Vimeo account where we could put our titles on there and people could stream them.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically come down to people don't want to pay to watch movies.
No.
Like very rarely, especially with and for me it's a catch-22 because I make a lot of money off of Don't Fuck in the Woods on Tubi. So it's one of those things where it's like, here, go pay money to rent this, but then also go see this for free. Because I'll make more money off of you watching this for free than I will you actually going to rent it. So it's...
Well, I know that a couple years, was it like almost 2 years ago, they had the big purge on Amazon Prime where they kicked like almost everybody off if it wasn't all the low budget movies were almost all kicked off, and now they're slowly trickling back on there. So it's funny because I'm sitting over you. We were talking about movies. I'm like, I got a bunch of your movies over there somewhere in my collection of movies.
Yeah.
I'm a physical media guy. Got to have my physical media.
And I'm the same way. Like, don't get me wrong. A lot of the movies that I have, I also have them digitally, but I still like tomorrow. I know that The Conjuring 3 comes out. It wasn't like my favorite movie, but I'm probably gonna buy it.
I just bought I went to Walmart the other day, and I hate going to Walmart, but I'm sitting there and I'm walking through and I'm like, our local Walmart's kind of garbage because right now their video section is probably 75-80% DVD and only like 20% Blu-ray. And so I see these movies I want, and I'm like, they're just on. I don't want to pay, $15 for a DVD when I can legitimately go on Amazon and buy the Blu-ray for $15. So I bought one called Spare Parts. And because I got the comic book a while back, and I was like, it's like, oh, this is a movie. And the worst part about it is I have an acquaintance that works for the company that puts it out. So he works for RLJ Films, but I haven't talked to him in a while. He's my one of my friends' uncle. We went to school together. So, but it used to be every once in a while I would get a box just in the mail, and I'd open it up and it'd just be full of Blu-rays of all the movies that he's like, "Yeah, watch these. Tell me if they're any good." then I would ask him questions about them. I'm like, "Man, why did you buy that movie?" He said, "Because it was profitable. Because it made money." He goes, "I didn't." He goes, "We didn't sell one DVD. It would have still been profitable because we sold it to all the streaming networks." So he goes, "We made money. That's why we got it."
Oh yeah, because distro companies, they're now to the point where it's like Gravitas Ventures has the right to put Don't Fuck in the Woods out digitally now.
Yeah.
But I got back the physical rights. And it's like that, it's the movie already made the money back that it owed them, that they supposedly put into the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of places now are just, they basically, you can get back the physical rights for next to nothing.
Because they want those digital rights.
Right. It's like, so at that point, I'm sorry, wouldn't it be smarter to just get the digital rights? Save money because you don't have to manufacture anything.
Well, that and RLJ's and Shudder are pretty much the exact same company.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. Well, then they also got the fact is they release them digital or physically a while before they come out on Shudder. Because I know, like,
yeah,
Psycho Gorman was out like 6 months on DVD before it ever went to streaming. So,
right.
But and I ain't even heard about when Spare Parts is coming to streaming. So, what's funny though is I did a we will call it. I took and got them an idea. Shot them an idea for a sequel to the Blind Dead trilogy or quadrilogy, five movies. So they liked it, but they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to spend that kind of money on a dead property." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. I tell you, one that you should check out if you haven't. It's only available digitally at the moment. Werewolves Within.
Werewolves Within. I think I saw that on Amazon a couple days ago.
There was apparently it was a video game at one point in time. I didn't know that. Like, I had heard that before I watched it, but the trailer just sold me. So that was an awesome movie. That was one of those movies that it was like, damn, I wish I would have made that.
Werewolves Within. Feature adaptation of the video game where werewolves attack a small town. Oh, and it's got a decent cast. Sweet. Huh? I will look that up. Written by a girl named somebody with the last name Wolf.
I look that up on Amazon every day just to see, hey, is this coming to Blu-ray yet?
Nope.
Blu-ray yet? Yeah.
Well, that's like I went to look up one called was it The Deep Ones? It's a Lovecraft movie. And I've seen it, like I said, seen it at Walmart. It's like, oh, I don't want to buy a DVD. I want to buy a Blu-ray. So I go and I look it up. Nope. It only exists on either streaming or DVD. It doesn't exist in Blu-ray form. So I'm like, okay. So that's better than some of the movies I want. They don't exist on anything outside of VHS tape. So I'm a guy who has spent I don't know, the better part of the last 20 years trying to find the movie Eyes of Fire on anything not VHS.
Yeah.
It's a weird horror movie that I tell everybody is the Blair Witch prequel. If you ever watch it, you'll know exactly what I mean. But literally the only thing I found was a German laser disc.
Eyes of Fire?
Yep, Eyes of Fire. It's, love that movie. I got 2 VHS tapes that I watch maybe once a year because I don't want to burn it out. because then I'm out completely. Same with the Keep. A friend of mine just now got me the laser disc recently of the Keep, but now it's digital. I think it might be on Amazon now, or was.
Is it a preacher is accused of adultery?
Yep.
I found it on DVD for $14.95.
14. Oh, gotta look at it though. Make sure it's the real one.
Well, see, that's what I don't know. So I'm just gonna send you a link.
Yeah, send me a link and I'll check it out. Because there for a long time you could get people were selling legal copies that were not legal copies.
Right.
Kind of like the Trick or Treat, the one with Skippy from Family Ties. The one that's never been released legally, except for when it got released briefly at Walmart, and until they found out that technically it was a bootleg DVD. The guy didn't have rights for it. It was just printing it and selling it.
See, I don't know. I found like a couple ones on eBay, so I'm like, eh.
Eyes of Fire. Classic movies. Yeah, it's one of them ones where it's just obscure enough, and maybe they did finally release it, because I remember it was only available like in Germany, and I just now recently got a region-free Blu-ray player, so I can watch movies that like Popcorn and Razorback, and it's a giant killer pig movie made by the guy that brought you Highlander. It's Razorback.
Oh, Razorback. I was like, Boar?
Boar, yeah. Yeah, see, Boar is I think it's just the remake. Because it's the giant killer pig in the Australian outback. It follows a lot of the same, and I'm like, there's a lot of movies like that. You're just like, how did you get away with that? That's the exact same movie. Although I was a sucker. I grew up as you're, how old are you right now? I forget. It's bad. You're
okay. I have this problem that I never remember how old I am. I'm either 37 or 38, about to turn 38 or 39.
So you're about a decade younger than I am.
Like I was born in 84.
Okay, so when's your birthday?
January 3rd.
Okay, so in January you will be 38.
Yes.
Yes.
I just pulled up a calculator. I'm like, 2021 minus. But yeah, I don't know why whenever somebody asks me that, I just go dumb. And I normally look for Ryan, and I'm like, how old am I again? Like, I just don't remember.
I don't forget how old I am. I've forgotten my birthday. I've been set in places and they're like, somebody goes, like I got ID'd at a bar one time and they're like, oh, it's your birthday. And I went, what? Oh shit, it's my birthday. Well, as an adult, you're at work or you're doing stuff and you don't even think about it so I just totally spaced on my own birthday. But all right. We keep going on different. This is almost like hanging out with me at my house. We totally go off topic. I think the only episode I ever remotely stayed on the topic was I did a G.I. Joe episode with my friend Jay, and we stayed on it almost to the very end, and then we started talking about wrestling because we were both wrestling fans. Okay. So if you're going to take any of your movies and you can make anything else out of them, like if you're going to go, okay, we're going to make the Don't Fuck in the Woods video game. or we're going to make the we're going to make the Betsy comic book. What you doing? What do you think would be what?
I mean, we've been talking like since like right before the pandemic, about trying to do like either a board game or a card game for Don't Fuck in the Woods. To where in my head I wanted, like, I was talking with people, like, I kind of want this set up like Candyland, except they're going from where the first movie started to where the second movie ends. To where, like, you go from, because the first movie, like, the camp isn't in the first movie, but it's in the woods. So we go from that section of the woods, like, through the sticker bush area or something like that, but set up like Candyland and just kind of played that way. And then a guy approached me about, I don't know a lot about tabletop card games, but he wanted to, like, get permission to make a version of the creature for, I don't know if it was Magic, if it was D&D. I don't know anything about those.
Okay.
So
I know
we thought about then doing that.
Well, I know somebody recently, I got a guy get a hold of me. He was doing trying to do a horror movie collectible card game where you played, the monsters or the killers and stuff like that. So I don't know if that was the guy that got a hold of you or not. Really, dog?
Was his name Pun?
I couldn't tell you. He literally sent me like an email and was like, if I sent you a copy, would you like test play it in a store? I'm like, I don't have time personally, but I would see if anybody would be up for it.
Yeah.
I was like, unfortunately, I'm a busy guy. Really, dog? You're freaking the fuck out. What? Go. Everybody needs a dog. Everybody needs a needy dog. That's my wife's needy ass dog. All right. You were talking about Ryan. So you guys, Concept Media is your baby, right? That's you two together, right?
Yep.
It's the umbrella to which all the other movies spawn from. Now, do you have anybody else underneath that umbrella right now or anything?
I mean, me and Ryan are the co-owners, but we do have other members of Concept Media. Travis Wilson, Brittany Blanton, Stephen J. Hodke, Rob Collins, Chris Borowski, Andrew Moore. 5, 6, 7, 8. There's one more. Oh, and Cheyenne Gordon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we all try to basically, it got to a point where finding it got to the point where I didn't want to be the only, like, I shot all of our movies. It got to like that point to where it's like that started distracting me, because it's like, especially with my films, it's like directing, editing, then doing everything else, and it just, having to shoot it as well. It just got to be too much, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun. So it's like, we brought in Travis Wilson, which he's our main camera operator. Andrew Moore is our, like, audio guy. Brittany Blanton, I don't know what the fuck she does. No, I'm kidding. She writes and directs. Ryan writes and directs. He's really good at makeup and, like, props and wardrobe and even special effects, because our first, like, wow, even up to Don't Fuck in the Woods, um for most of those movies, Ryan did the effects, and it got to the point where he'd get some dirt and he'd get some cigarette ashes and he'll make something out of it. So we basically just brought in like a bunch of people that we knew were cool, and they wanted to do this. They wanted to make movies. That way we kind of like, we already have like a pre-built team for anything we do.
Yeah, because you always, it's nice when you get like a bunch of like-minded people working on, like, okay, hey, I'm busy. I wrote this. Here you go. Then everybody's like, okay, well, I got this. Can you edit it? Okay. We need music. You can just, instead of having to do everything yourself, it's got to be like a lifesaver. Take, yeah. Like I've told other people, I was like, being in a job that you love, when you stop loving it, and because you're burnt out on it, that's not good.
Right.
It's you gotta have fun, because luckily I'm still at that point. I'm 9 years doing what I'm doing now, so, and I still like doing it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's still people that drive me nuts every day, but the whole, I still love it. So before I forget, what Kickstarters do you have going right now? I know you've got a couple going.
We don't have anything going at the moment.
Nothing going. I thought I just saw one for. So you guys got the money for She Burns in Hell. Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was just on here the other day. So
yeah, we've right now we're shooting between Mr. Buzzkill, Stranded, and we've got a little bit left on She Burns in Hell Chapter 2. Yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap up our year, and just
now
that's where we're gonna be.
I was gonna ask you, because I was gonna ask Ryan too. So when you do She Burns in Hell, are you going to be able to release that like outside of just like on, because given the fact that it's a continuation of like a fan film type thing?
I mean, we can put it on YouTube. We can't like sell it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't monetize that, can you, even on your YouTube channel?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so, because I was like, I was sitting there, I was laughing, because I'm sitting there one day and I was looking through the perks for the Kickstarter, and one of them was you could be at the prom. I was like, yeah. I'm like looking at that, I'm like, how to donate just so I could figure out how to put me in the prom in a high school in 1970. Why is there a 50-year-old man in a corner? I could walk around with missing fingers, be the shop teacher. Yeah. I always joke around about this, is I want to be, I've been in a couple movies, and I want to be in one more, because I want to be the guy at the beginning of the movie that tells the kids they're going to die out there. That is my goal, to be in at least one movie, to be the guy. Because I was like, I can't pull off being in a movie anymore. I can't be the young guy that comes in and helps anybody or nothing like that. But I was like, be the crazy old man. But yeah, it's funny, because I was sitting there, because I gave to a couple, but was it Stranded? Your perks were the Bigfoot keychain, and stuff like that. Were you getting those made, or were you 3D printing those, or?
No, actually, I hand sculpted those and made a mold, and we got liquid plastic, and we made all those ourselves.
Nice. I was sitting there, because I was like, how the hell are they making?
And it was so much cheaper than having keychains made.
Yeah, it was fun seeing some of the stuff you guys do for, the perks and stuff. Like I said, I get joked around about being at the prom, or you get a keychain, or um I think my favorite one is on like everybody's, is you get to die in the movie. It's like for
That's a big one
$500
now.
you get to die in a movie.
Yeah, that's a big one now. Like, and it's crazy because I remember when we first started out crowdfunding, like we could offer a DVD and a poster, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like, or a copy of the script, and we didn't really want to do that because that costs more to make than the damn DVD or poster.
Oh yeah, because DVDs are dirt cheap to make, or were.
Right. So it was like, it's crazy to watch over the years the things that progress as like, okay, well now we just got to sell deaths in movies. Like that's the new like rare item.
It's like
that you get from a crowdfunding campaign.
You get murdered by a Bigfoot.
Right. Which, granted, I'm not gonna lie, we've met some cool people doing that, which is kind of a bonus because, I mean, it's not like a lot of these people. So before they get there or before they show up, it's like you stalk their Facebook and you're like, because it's like, okay, can this guy act? What if he like does his death and looks just stupid?
He's like, ah,
right. Like, it's like, what if this guy just won't die in a manner that's gonna keep the movie going on? Like, so it's like sometimes that's a worry because it's like that's out of your control.
Have you had one go south yet?
Luckily, I haven't.
Good.
Like, but before they get to set, you're like, okay, today's the day that we're doing this. Shit. This could be a good day. This could be a bad day.
Yeah, you're just one person who's gonna try to eat up as much film as possible away from having a shitty day.
Right. Like, I feel like this is what people who meet people on Craigslist might feel like. Like, just worried about how this is going to turn out.
Oh my God. I couldn't. That's like people who meet people for the first time, people that they hooked up with on like Facebook or something like that. I'm like,
right.
But,
that takes a different stress level than what I am able to provide for anything.
Oh, holy crap. I'm trying to remember how many years ago it was. I was at Horror Hound and I'm standing in line and this guy keeps staring at me. And I'm like, okay, can I help you? And he's like, you ever been in a movie? And I'm like, no. He goes, do you want to be? And I'm like, maybe. I don't know. I was like, you're freaking me out, man. And he like hands me his card and stuff. And it was the dude was making a like a Manson-esque movie, but it was like in the hills of Kentucky, Tennessee type thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, you look like the guy I picture. I'm like, thank you. I I mean, I just have a big long beard, and at the time I had a lot more hair, but and I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, okay, he goes, you just got to be like this like kind of like really quiet, like, you don't really talk a whole lot, but everybody needs to know that you're in charge. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I was like, I guess I can try. And then we sat there and talked, and he's like, okay, but we're filming. And it was literally like 5 hours away from my house. They filmed on the weekends only, and they were going to do it for like 4 consecutive weekends. And I'm like, I can't do that. I was like, I got a wife and kids at home. And I was like, I cannot be gone from Friday, because I'd had to leave as soon as I got off work, drive the 5 hours to do it, and then work until the last minute, drive back to here, and then go back to work. So I'm like, yeah, I cannot. I'm sorry, dude. I was like, I would love to be in your movie. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to give it a try. But it was one of the ones where you're like, I don't know this dude from nobody. I could have got down there to freaking the hills of middle of nowhere and been like, oh, you're gonna be in a horror movie. Guess what? You get to die, stab. A really good film. Run through the woods, boy. What?
Right.
So I mean, luckily enough, I've died on film once, and I was in an office. And then I do my stupid shit on here. So, but come on, dog. What's up? Okay. Sorry. She is wanting to bug the crap out of me right now. Trying to think if I got all my questions in. Where can they find you at? Like your website and all that fun stuff.
We have conceptmediallc.com, which from there you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, pretty much you can find everyone by stalking us there.
And you can buy physical copies of your movies there, right? Yes. For the people.
And we have cmtube.net, which is a direct link to our YouTube channel.
You can stream the YouTubes. And you've got, let's see, what movies have not been released yet that I'm thinking of here?
So many.
Stranded.
Yeah, Stranded. Stranded will be next year. She Burns Chapter 2 will be this year. Mr. Buzzkill will, I feel, be next year.
No, who's because you're Mr. Buzzkill. Who's filming Mr. Buzzkill? Who's directing?
Travis Wilson is filming it. Rob Collins is directing it.
And those guys are the ones that wrote the movie too?
Rob's one of them, yeah.
Cool. And 60 Seconds to Die. 60 Seconds to Die 2.
Man, those are so old.
2018.
I guess that feels like forever ago.
It does. That's like I'm watching a movie the other day and I'm like going, that movie came out 2 years ago? That doesn't seem right.
Or well, that's when they were released. When we put our shorts in those, man. Yeah, the last one that we filmed was in 2015.
That's a long freaking
so it took some time for those to get out.
The 60 Seconds to Die, is that yours or is that for other people?
Well, it's like, I want to say like 60 different shorts that are a minute long.
Yeah, that's what it looks like here. 60 Seconds to Die 3. Why they did not have 60 Seconds to Die 2 Electric Boogaloo, I will never know. That's my answer for everything. Always number 2 is Electric Boogaloo. Always. So used to be The Return.
But other than that, we'll have Don't Fuck in the Woods 2 coming out sometime.
And you guys,
it's not really up. It's not up to us. If it was, it would have already been out by now.
And you're going to be at Horror Hound with the Concept Media booth.
Yep. And Don't Fuck in the Woods 2 is playing there Friday night at 9:30.
And you got a casting call for
Stranded.
For holy shit, that's only a few days away. I don't know if I'll have this up by then. But
no problem.
Has that ever turned into a headache trying to get a bunch of people like that, and then you always get the one guy who wants to really, really, really be on film.
I mean, that's always a thing. We'll either get messages or emails of somebody like begging, and it's like, just do the casting process. Like, we give everybody a chance. We will watch everybody's videos when they submit something. Like, listen, we're independent film. We don't have the luxury of like having a budget to pay for certain names or anything like that. So it's like, if we see some sort of talent in you, like, yeah, we're gonna use you, and we're gonna have you come back. Like,
We're gonna
you
make
know,
sure that you're one of the regulars. If you can,
right? Like,
yeah.
because
Who's your
a lot of the people we work with started out as those like little small parts, and then they just kept coming back, and then they eventually build up into like supporting lead roles.
Oh yeah. Outside of Aaron, who's some of the people you really like to work with?
That I like to work with. I don't know. No, no. We've had the pleasure of meeting some really cool people, like that either had names or didn't have names. Yesterday, I was doing like conference calls in the car with Tamara Glenn. I hope it's Tamara Glenn. It could be Tamara Glenn. From Halloween 5?
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Seems right.
Because she lives in Florida, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name, because I've been, yeah, you're so busy, and I've just dodged asking her what her name is, because she'll be like, "Oh, hey, hon." I'm like, "Hi.
Hey, how's it going, you?"
Yeah, I'm like, and I feel so bad about that, but she was filming her part for Stranded yesterday, so I was like prepping them and walking them through like what I was thinking. They were bouncing ideas off of me. But she's really nice. She's great to work with so far. I don't mean so far. Yeah. But as far as like actors, Mike Pleska, Mark Justice, Jason Crow, that guy, he can be your funny goof off stoner, whatever he can literally be whatever you want him to be. Just, yeah. If I had that amount of talent, let me tell you.
There's always those people that you look at and you're like, how are you? Wow. You're just,
yeah.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, I had a couple friends that did local theater, and I was like, I always kind of blew it off, and then I went and seen them. I'm like, why are you not doing something bigger than like local, like, theater? I don't even think the theater even exists here anymore. But they used to do it. I'm like, holy crap, you guys need to try out for movies. I was like, and there's always people making movies in Dayton. I was like, you need to go for it. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some people just aren't comfortable with that transition.
Yeah. I figured doing live would be just scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, nerve-wracking.
Because I was gonna try to put together a play a few years ago, and I started like, man, I was like, this would be scary because you can't hide it in editing. You can't like cut out where you screw up. You like, okay, he blotched his lines. I just take that out and post. But that would be frightening for me. I'm not gonna lie in any way, shape. That was just, Even though, that's why I do this. And somebody goes, why don't you go and do it live? I'm like, I don't think I want to do it live. I screw up bad enough. I can edit this crap out when I flub stuff up.
Right.
It never fails. Every time I start to do my my cartoon one, I never ever get my opening correct. I have to do my opening like at least a couple times before I get it going, and then I still feel like it's not right. So
Yeah.
But I'm doing it for fun. I'm not doing it for trying to whatever. So trying to think what else. I think I might have asked you all the questions. Yeah. I think I might have ran out of shit to ask you. Is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, I think we covered it with as far as current events, what movies are coming out, and yeah.
And go watch Don't Fuck in the Woods on so you can make you some more money.
Yeah. That's because literally, like, it's crazy. Like, you'll get these invoices, and sometimes they come with a check, sometimes they don't. So it's like when you get that check, you can see exactly where the money came from, and you're like, okay, I'm promoting it there then.
I found out a movie I was in is big in Germany.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a ongoing joke with me that I'm big in Japan because used to be I'd go to anime conventions a lot, and like Japanese kids love getting their pictures taken with me, and I just okay, yeah, I'm kind of, I guess I stick out because I don't, and finally I had to ask one. I'm like, hey, I was like, man, why you want your picture taken with me? I'm nobody. And they're like, you're a wrestler. I'm like, what? No, I'm not a wrestler. And they said who I was, and I'm like, what? I didn't know who it was. So I found out about the guy. Then a few years later, I met the guy. He's a deathmatch guy. And we both have long beards, but he braids his. We wear leather jackets. We both had, long hair at the time and stuff like that. And he goes, oh yeah, he goes, to them, we all look alike. All white people look alike. And I'm like, oh. So it became an ongoing joke that Japanese people thought I was somebody else. So I became big in Japan. So the ongoing joke is Paul's big in Japan. So I'm like, and it was funny when I started doing my podcast, I started getting these views in Japan, and I was like, or listens in Japan, and my buddy's like, hey, I told you, you're big in Japan. I was big in France for like a week. I don't know why. I had like 70 listens a day in France. Just and then they all went away because something to do with that podcast app didn't want to run the podcast the way I was running them. Or the way I was doing the so, but for some reason for like a week I was big in France. All right, I do appreciate you hanging out with me and talking with me, and I wish you the bestest of luck in the world. You guys are a good bunch of people. I like when you guys come up and hang out at the shop. I haven't seen Ryan in a while, but we used to run into Ryan at comic book conventions and stuff like that. I'm going to hopefully get the Horror Hound. I don't know if that's 100% going to happen yet, so we're going to see. So I might see you guys then.
Okay.
I do have you guys usually. I got some free comic book day books if you want to come up, or I'll bring them up and give them to your kids and all that and stuff. So, like I said, I do appreciate you hanging out with me and talking.
Not a problem.
I'm going to get Ryan on here, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
He keeps telling me he'll be on. Is just trying to get this issues taken care of. I was supposed to do a show last night, but my internet was garbage. I could not film more than a couple minutes. So hopefully, did it all go good on your end? No
Yeah.
issues. I didn't freeze. Good. I kept freezing on the other end, but then again, I was talking to somebody in California. So,
Yeah.
anytime you ever want to pop up to talk about, like, say when, hey, when Don't Fuck in the Woods 2 is coming out, you want to pop up and go, hey, you guys need to watch this. It's coming out Tuesday or whatever. Just let me know and we'll work it out. And as I tell anybody, if you ever need to film in a comic book store, you're more than welcome to come up and use the shop.
I may think about that.
Yeah, because we also got the comic book shop side, and then we have the gaming side, so you can use that room for all kinds of shit. So, except for you had to work because there's like 2 arcade cabinets sitting over there. Just randomness. So, all right, well, I'm going to let you go, and you have a good night. And
You too, sir.
I will talk to you hopefully soon, hopefully in the next couple weeks at the Horror Hound.
Yep.
And if not, I'll talk to you online. Have a good night and
You
take
too,
care, man. Later.
Later.
All right. I hope you liked today's episodes with filmmaker Shawn Burkett. Shawn's a great guy. All the guys at Concept Media are some really cool people. As always, the Group Therapy Podcast is brought to you by RU Game, the best comic book video game collectible store in all of Piqua, Ohio, located at 124 North Sunset Drive, Piqua, Ohio 45356. You can also watch me on my other show, the Saturday Morning Serials. We'll be bringing you more Saturday morning cartoons soon. And hopefully next week we'll bring you professional wrestler Ruby Reyes. We're going to give you hopefully a little tidbit of that soon. And we're scheduling some more guests, hopefully coming down the pipe. So I am glad you all are hanging out, and good night and have a great one.